Welcome back to ABC6 News at 5. We are joined now by a man who really needs no introduction, but for the sake of formalities, we will introduce the gentleman to my left. You know him as America's nicest judge, America's favorite judge, Judge Frank Caprio. He is here today to talk about his new book, which came out on Tuesday. It's called Compassion in the Court, and the subtitle is Life-Changing Stories from America's Nicest Judge. Judge Caprio, great to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you.
So tell me about this book. I'm dying to know. Is this something you always wanted to do? How did this project come about?
Oh, this just evolved. You know,
How recently?
I beg your pardon?
How recently has it evolved? Is it the last few months, the last few years?
Within the last 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
just evolved, you know. And it really captures what was going on when I was on the bench, how I treated people with compassion and understanding. And I really believe that there's such a disproportionate between the power of the sovereign and people in authority and people who don't have those resources, you know, that we could share that temperament.
I know from talking to you over the years, you have a lot of stories to tell. So how did you whittle down enough to put in your book here, Compassion in the Court? That must have been really difficult to say, all right, this makes it, this doesn't make the cut. How did you decide?
Well, I started off very easy with my parents.
Okay.
You know, the influence that my parents had on me. And then it was a tough job deciding what else to go on, because so many of the stories were so compelling,
yes.
You know. So it was an exercise.
Those iconic moments from your show, Caught in Providence, we were chatting before we came on. There's a clip of the judge with a young boy on his lap talking about his dad and his violation, saying, is your dad guilty or innocent? The kid didn't hesitate. He's guilty. You know, it's moments like that that certainly caught on with people all over the world. You mentioned your parents and the compassion you learned from them. I'm curious, what did your parents think of the rulings you made on the bench, especially your dad? What kind of feedback did you get from them as you started your career?
My father was on the visited the court the first day that I sat, and he criticized me for being too harsh.
Really?
The first day. Some woman came in who had a terrible attitude, and I rewarded her with a terrible attitude.
A little fine, okay. And so your dad says what?
He says, how could you do that to that woman? She had 3 kids. And you find her, and now maybe she can't feed the kids tonight. You have to take those things into consideration. You know, so it was the first day I was on the bench.
Wow.
And it sort of set the tone for my judgeship from that point on.
So without that moment, do you think you wouldn't have been the America's favorite judge?
I don't know.
The compassion would have got lost in
I'll
the
give
shuffle?
my father the credit.
Okay. Well, I know your parents had a huge influence on you, and I know you've talked about that many, many times, and
yes.
Certainly people all over the world appreciate it and love it. But that compassion is also kind of fuel for critics who say, oh, he's a softie, he's too easy, too many second chances. At this point in your life, how do you respond to people like that who say, oh, people don't deserve this many second chances?
All I did was I placed myself in the shoes of the person that was before me and say, well, how would I want to be treated if I were there? And would I want to be treated harshly, or would I want to be treated with understanding and compassion? And the answer was easy, be understanding and compassion.
As you look at the news, you watch the news, you read the news, and you see what's going on in the world. I know that's a general statement, but you know what I'm talking about. Do you think your message of compassion has an incredible mountain to climb for it to really take shape in America?
I think it's resonated.
Okay.
I hear that. I travel a great deal. I traveled this country. I traveled overseas. And that message has resonated even in the Arab Republic. It resonated in Italy, in Great Britain, in France, and in this country as well. It's a very simple message, and I think one that we should all sometimes stop and say, you know, we should treat people with understanding and dignity and respect, because that's how we want to be treated.
I don't know if I'm just feeling nostalgic, Judge, but because we're sitting here next to each other and you're on Channel 6, I'm thinking back fondly to our times together on Labor Day weekend at the Warwick Mall all those years ago when we teamed up to do the Labor Day telethon, and you'd come in on Monday afternoon, we'd be in the phone bank together, and you'd get the phones ringing. Everybody wanted to talk to Judge Caprio. Good moments. Those were fun times.
Those were great days. I remember, and we did great work raising some money.
We did. Thanks to you. You were a big part of that. You were a big part of it. Also, before I let you go, I can't let you go without asking, so many people care about you and care about your health, especially after you made that dramatic announcement on social media asking for prayers after your diagnosis for pancreatic cancer. Then everybody's excited to see that you were ringing the bell back in May of 2024. How are you doing now?
Well, I still have a challenge before me. I'm suffering from pancreatic cancer, and I'm still fighting the battle, and I still need prayers.
The prayers are working, Judge.
I hope so.
They are. They're definitely working. Well, it was a pleasure chatting with you, and we're so pleased to have you in today. And we do want to let you know Compassion in the Court is available where all books are sold. And if you want to see the judge and have him sign a copy for you, you can. Go to the Barrington Public Library this Saturday at 2 o'clock. The judge will be there. He'll sign your copy. I wish you the best, my friend, with your book and your health,
Thank you
of course.
so much.
Always a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you.